Okay, so today I'm trimming the final piece for these, which is my little lady statues here, or the head that goes inside. And I need to move quickly because my niece's birthday today and I've got her party to go to. Just kind of seeing where I'm at now. Some of these may have some height to take off of. Ooh, this one fits nice, but it's not bad. I gotta think about where to start with these two. I guess I'll start with trimming down the ones that need to have more narrow outsides. So that needs to come out. That needs to come out. Wait, that needs, this one's narrow enough, right? I think I'm a little bit off. I'm gonna have to look at each one before I trim it. Okay. So this is how we'll do it. We will put our little lady heads over there. Put our little lady statues there. Got the chuck. Lady statues. Lady statues. Let's just start with jumps here, okay? A little water. I think what I'll do is I'll start and just trim down to the edge of each one and then rotate through them and come back and do this part later because I got to center them differently. Hey, Professor Oak, how you doing, man? Hello, Kat. Hello, Alyssa from the Philippines. Sorry, guys, I did not get very prepared for this earlier. Which one's sharper? I think this one's sharper. Hello, Hutterstar? Ah, so many things. Guru, I'm from the United States. I'm in the state of Georgia. Hello. Hello. Oh, you did? You checked out our game? That's awesome, Professor Oak. Thank you. That's cool. Yeah, I was, yesterday I was putting together the cards. So I assembled 65 GBA cards. So I got like 200 and like 30 something to go. And there's gonna be power tools today because my neighbors are renovating a house. It's also why I have bad lighting today, is because I had brought all the lights inside. Take a little bit off this now, just a little bit. No dogs today, no. Those were my neighbor's dogs, and they were a trip. They're all a trip, but those are the neighbors who are actually renovating the house. They're friends of ours. They renovated our house before we bought them. But yeah, they're funny. Tater's the newest. Spoiled rotten. What am I doing? I am trimming a component for a sculpture that I am making for my mom. And what trimming means is I am cutting off the outside to make it smoother or the right size or more round. There's like lots of reasons to trim. Kind of like fine-tuning it. In this case, what I'm trying to do is get them to fit so they sit on the inside of my little lady statues. And I'll show you in a minute when I take this one off. I'm going to take a little bit more off of this one. Right. Okay, so yeah, I need more off here to fit this one. Yeah, more off there to fit this one. Yeah, so just same spot over and over again, just like right there. Can't do anything with my left hand. All right. So this time I'll center. Based on the base. So from there down, I gotta keep my eye on the time. It is my niece's birthday. I need to still wrap her gift. So, and then I'll need to get cleaned up. Notes to myself. Nope. This is actually too big from there. Like this one. Take from there. It's still too big from there. So go from here down. Getting close. From here. Here, okay. Well, that's a no. Hopefully it's not a recurring issue. So this one, we're going to trim from here down. And actually that's going to go like from the top. It's not good enough. Okay. This one's super crooked. start at the base and then come back to the top. Alright, I'm not doing this for now, this one sucks. Center them off. This particular one, top needs to go, top needs to go, top needs to go. I'm a little stressed. Is it showing? Yeah. I probably shouldn't be doing this right now. We just got a lot going on. We're going to that convention, that trade show for the Game Boy Advance games. First week of April. So we're getting ready for that. There's a ton to do there. I gotta like finish the art for a game that we're gonna be selling up there. Which is a lot. And then, like I said, today's my niece's birthday, so I just scrambled to make her card. And I still have to wrap her gift. And then, I still need to get this done and give the studio time to fire it. Which, if I was at like a normal studio, I probably would just be SOL. Because I need to get this done before we leave. Because that's the week of her birthday. So yeah, I'm a little stressed. Which I need to not be, because that's gonna result in bad decision making. Yeah, I don't know if this one's even gonna be able to trim down enough to fit that one. So I'm gonna ignore that one for now. So from there down. But yeah, I need to chill out, because anytime I rush, I mess things up. This is also how I operate. I tend to do everything last minute. I tried not to. I swear, even when I like give myself enough time, something happens always. my goal is to get this to the studio to fire this weekend, which means I need to trim these, and then underglaze everything. So really, maybe Sunday I could get there. Stinking niece. No, not stinking niece. I love my niece. My niece is the coolest. I love both my niece and nephews a lot. I blame everyone in my family for not being considerate when they decided to reproduce, though. They should have spaced birthdays out. That would have made my life a lot easier. In fact, my husband and I moved our anniversary just because it was just too much going on at this time of year. So we celebrate in September rather than March. I think what I'm gonna do is, like, if it fits one, just make it fit one, and then that ends up being the one. So, like, for example, this one gets all the way down to here. So yeah, never say sneaking niece. She's the coolest. I feel bad that I don't have anything made for her, but I'd need to start making that in the coldest months of the year when I don't throw, because it's too cold. But I think this summer what I'm gonna have her do is come over here and we'll make stuff together. Yeah, you're right. I mean, because they're all so different, but my head was like, well, what if this one breaks, and then but the head fits, but then the head for another one breaks, you know, so trying to make it fit all of them. But yeah, it's not a solid plan. But if this doesn't work, what I may end up doing is just hand building the centerpieces. Or the other option is I throw them as solid pieces and then cut them and, like, let them dry to leather hard, then cut them in half and put them back together. Because my concern is what happened on the other one was I trimmed the wall down here too thin. All-star. Hey, Mr. Jeff. Hope you're doing well today. close. I don't want these to sit inside, but they may not. Super not centered either. Actually, I think it's getting hung up. No way, if I can pass through there, shouldn't have an issue. Yeah, I don't want to go any thinner there. Okay. Come off. Okay. Set this one aside for now. So, I'm saying that this one goes with this one. Wait, with this one. So I'll still be able to trim some off the top here. Let's see. I'll probably need to cut some of the bottom off anyway so it can go all the way down. We'll wait on that. Hey, Asif. Yes, this all takes so much time. I think I'm like 30 some odd hours into this project now. That's nice. When it gets centered, that's a good feeling. It's a really good feeling. Okay. At least these are sticking nice too. That's good. Ooh. Haha. Yeah, this is actually a better way to test it in some ways. It's actually there down. It needs to come down. Creativity takes time. Be patient. Ah, yes, you're right. You're right, Tyler. Hey, Denny. How are you doing? How do you and your husband quit your job so young? Ha ha ha. We're not that young. I love the birds chirping in the background. Thank you. Thank you. My studio spot is my garage, my unfinished garage. And then Professor Oak, to go back to your comment, how did we quit our job so young? We didn't 100% quit. My husband still works. He works part-time as a developer. We're in our 40s, so we're not that young. And we both saved up a lot. So we were at we do what's called FIRE, which is Financial Independence Retire Early. So we started this in our 30s, but it would have been, if we had started in our 20s, we would have been retired by our 30s. But putting back a significant amount of income and putting it in the market. And with the plan on retiring, and then also living below what our income is. So kind of like you get a promotion, or you get a pay increase, rather than just increasing your spending. You put that away. Now that's not possible for everybody and stuff like that, especially people who have families and things. But that's what we did. And so we're at what's called your Coast Fire, which we have enough money to live off of if we were 60. So as long as we make enough money to pay the bills and we don't touch our retirement, we are in a good spot. So I need to come off more there. But yeah, he still works 3 days a week. He's also a developer, so he makes has a really good hourly. And he's a senior developer. He's been coding since he was 11 years old. I mean, he is elite. I'll say that much. You can get on his GitHub and see. So he supports us right now. But the plan is to get the business to eventually support us. Hell yeah, Professor Oak. That's it. Hi, Cobra. So yeah, so the kind of idea is like, hey, do I want to spend this money now, or do I want to retire early? So for example, I don't buy clothes. I very rarely buy clothes. We don't go out a lot. We think before we spend anything. No impulse buys. That kind of try not to do impulse buys. It's not perfect, but not upgrading our phone, things like that, and all those things start adding up. But the biggest thing, the number one thing, is just putting back money and putting it in the market, and just accepting the fact that we do what's it called, STX through Vanguard. It's like it's an index fund, so it's kind of based on the entire market. So you just accept the fact that you're going to have your ups and downs because you're looking at the long run. But hello, Patricia from France. So sometimes I'm like, oh, it would have been cool if I could. Y'all, it's fitting. It's fitting. I think I got a lady. I got a lady. That's perfect. That is exactly what I'm looking for, man. Exactly. Just keep this one together. If I can just keep this one together. I'm so thrilled about this. So I'm still going to trim the top, but I want to wait a bit since I just put some water in there. So look, this is going to sit in here like this, and then I'll trim this to be round, so it's like a face looking up. I am so thrilled right now, man. So thrilled. Oh, life is good. I can breathe. I got one. Thanks for the good energy, y'all. That's awesome. Bebo says hi. Bebo. Whew. I can breathe. Nice. So yeah, that's it. So, and then we're hoping that this conference is going to go well, and because right now the game business pays for itself as far as like supplies, so like we make back everything that we spend. The only thing that we're not getting, well, I need to be centering this top part, I need to think, but we're not paying ourselves. So, and the reason for that, we're not being able to pay ourselves, we're just not selling enough games. We got the right price point as far as income. All right, so that center part is trimmed, but not the bottom part. So I just need to remember not to keep going. Hello, Poncho. But we're hoping. We kind of had to put some of the business on hold after we did Inky because family things happening. But we're thinking maybe if we can find, like, maybe if this conference goes well as we think it will, maybe we can find 2 or 3 conferences to go a year. Sean can quit, my husband can quit his job, and we can do the business full time. Hope. It is really hard to center this itty bitty thing. I think what I may do is find the center and then stick it. All right, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna find the center and then stick it down. Hello, Pablo. Professor Oak, thank you. Thanks, Patricia. Thank Backbenstown. Well, the thing is that the bottom and this top are not centered on each other. So that's like something that'll happen in pottery. Like sometimes that, like imagine there's a circle here and a circle here, that this circle is kind of centered over here and this circle centered over there. So sometimes you have to find a center at different parts. You know, sometimes you have to center either rim and then sometimes you have to center the base. So this particular thing is not centered throughout. So the center of this circle up here is not the center of this circle down here. So my plan is to trim this part first. So I got to center this part and then I'll take it off and I'll center the bottom part. Yeah, like if I knew how to make, if I was consistently, so like this right here is centered, but about the time I get down here, I'm getting off centered. Oh, look, it just stuck on its own. The dollar says it pops off. Yeah. Does that make sense? No. I appreciate the input. And besides, it gives me a chance to explain. So you know that, you know. It's so hard to center this thing. Sometimes it just, and the worst part is I can't, normally when you tap center, what you would do is you would tap the part that you are centering. Like I would tap the top, but if I tap the top, I'm going to knock it off, knock it over. Come on, dude. Like, this is the center of the wheel. That's the center. There we go. It's right there. I'm not gonna... In fact, what I may do is get some clay. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get some clay and stick it. Oof. That I know what I'm doing. I do not know what I'm doing, Jeff. I'm not Jeff, but Professor Oak. Hello again, Jeff. I do not know what I'm doing. I'm teaching myself. You know, I've never made this before. This is all new. That's why I appreciate, I'm not gonna turn down suggestions. One day I may know what I'm doing. One day I'll have confidence to be like, I know what I'm doing there. But I would say if I make another one of these, if I get this all the way through, then I'll know what I'm doing, at least with this one project. Denny, I do have a plan. I don't have centered pieces. But I have a plan. off, man. It's like moving up. This piece of the sculpture though, I kind of winged. I mean, I had a plan. This is like all wobbly. What do you want to do? You want me to like stick you down? I'm kind of tempted to like carve a texture. In fact, that may be a way to deal with this. That may be a smart idea. Let me think. Oh yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I am gonna do that. Look at you guys giving me ideas. So this piece is gonna say, "You are the light," or "Be the light" on the inside. And so I was kind of imagining painting it look like a kind of fireball kind of thing. So carving it, may actually be cool. Hell yeah. This is what we're gonna do. This is the new plan, y'all. The one thing that makes me nervous is breaking it. I'll still trim the faces. And then I gotta hop. This may actually go a little bit faster because I won't be messing with centering until I get to the chuck part. And I won't have to get the bottom so iffy. Look at you guys helping me. Malcolm G, hey! It's hit or miss. Thanks, Poncho, that you love the idea. I'm making things work. Gotta go with the flow. That's one of the things that attracted me to pottery. Is when you first start, you throw the clay on, and you don't know what's going on. You're just trying to get it in a shape. So you kind of work with the pottery or the clay until that shape is formed. So a lot of the stuff you make at first is just what comes out. For example, like I once made a bowl. The only bowl I've ever made was on accident. Because I was just, that's what the clay wanted to be. But then to actually make stuff that you want to make, it's a little different. Okay, so this one has a piece, right? She's going in her? Yeah, she's perfect. Let's set her aside. And we got this one and this one, right? Or are these backwards? I think I got these mixed up. I don't think. Right? No, this one goes in here for sure. Oh, you don't have to worry about that, Malcolm. I'm trying not to make this a thing. I don't want this to be a thing. Because YouTube's a lot of work, man. Like I think a lot of people think, oh, go be a YouTuber, it's easy. I mean, some people may just come naturally. But I find videos really hard, editing really hard. That's why I stream, because this is all just a record of my projects. Like, it's a legit vlog. I'm terrible at keeping notes. So I found that if I record everything, I can go back and look at my videos and be like, oh, that's what I meant to do, or that's where things went wrong. And at first, when I started, I was taping myself and then I would upload the videos because I'm just using YouTube as a repository for my videos. But the problem with that is then I got to worry about how much space do I have on my phone, and my phone doesn't always have enough space to hold a 4-hour video. So I started streaming as a way to get my stuff done quicker. And then people started coming by and saying hi, and that was really cool. So I leave chat on because I enjoy meeting people. But I'm not interested in monetizing this account or anything like that. Because plus two, like, I don't know. I kind of feel like it's I don't know. Like I said, it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of work I don't want to do. Besides, like, for me, like, some people don't do it for the money. They just want to be, you know, they like the connection with people, which is cool too, but I don't know. I've never wanted to be famous. I'd take being rich, but I don't ever want to be famous. I'm from a small town, and I kind of feel like that's what being famous is, except the whole world is your town. And it also attracts like a lot of negativity, and I don't like negativity. So I'm stuck. I'm stuck and I'm having thoughts. Malcolm pulled his message back. Yeah, see, Malcolm, you're making videos every day. It's a lot of work for sure. Jeff, you wrote a poem. It's very nice. Makes me feel a little weird. I'm gonna be honest. See, like, I think everything's gonna fit this one, so I'm kind of tempted to make everything fit this one, because this is also my favorite. But then if she breaks, then I got no backups. I'm thinking, because like, this one may not work with any of them because it's just too narrow. Yeah, it's not going to work with that one, so this one just needs to go away. And then this is my little short squat lady. I don't like her. I could probably get... Is it too long? No, for the other one for this one it is a little too long, but let me see, I can test it this way. It's still getting stuck there. So maybe I'll keep this little short lady as my backup. Because this will also shrink a little bit too. We'll see. The one reason I have considered monetizing my channel, the one thing that made me think about it was it'd be cool if I could get it to pay for my pottery supplies. But then again, it's like, but then people like have to see ads, and I have this thing against ads. Like, I don't, you know, and then plus two, you know, this happens with our business channel, and I think they do it because it's a business channel. Um, like, they force ads even when we look at our own videos. Malcolm, it shrinks? Yeah, so the clay shrinks. Shrinks from the time it's like wet, so when I throw a piece, and then it's wet and I take it off, it'll shrink then, and then it'll shrink again when I throw it in the kiln. And each clay body, you know, so each type of clay has its own what they call shrink. All right, I'm not gonna remember the name for it, but they all shrink a different amount. So, and they can shrink anywhere from 10 to 25%. So that's partly why I try to keep my ladies together at all times, because so they shrink at the same rate, the top and the bottom. Yeah, man, clay's complicated. You know, I would say that's one thing I do have a goal for my channel. If I can show people like how hard clay is to like do, because I think people like, you see a lot of short videos, like the most popular clay related videos are shorts, you know, where people are just like, you know, getting something done in a minute. And like, it's not how it works. And what happens too, it kind of gives like, for those who do seller work, it kind of gives a distorted idea of how much, you know, oh, you know, in this short, it only looks like it took you a minute to make. Well, that's not showing the amount of time it, you know, they spent figuring out that item. So for example, I threw these ladies, I threw at least in one other set of these ladies before I found ones that worked. I mean, I spent a day on the wheel just figuring out like general shapes. So there's like a lot of trial and error. Denny knows. Malcolm, well, I admire your dedication to your channel. You know, streaming at the same time every day. That's a lot. You have a nice little setup too behind you. It's very photogenic. Better than my falling apart wall. Denny, you agree with me? That looks like so much more than it is. Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, even when you get started, like when I first started, I was like, I mean, I was kind of lucky when I took my first wheel class. I got stuff off the first day. You know, it wasn't great, but I got stuff off. So I even had like, I don't even think I realized how much work all of this was until I got my own wheel. Especially with like the reclaim and the prep and the cleanup. Like, even then I didn't know how much I was getting myself into. So even if you're, you know, are a clay person and you're doing clay, it still takes a while to learn. And I haven't even touched learning how to fire things on my own. I actively try not to learn glazing, which I probably need to practice more, because it's not just like painting stuff on. It's like a little more complicated than that. But like I said before, the moment I got on the wheel, I was like, this is my thing. I don't know if I did it in like a past life or something, or if it's just a fit for my personality, but Mr. Jeff, I upload videos on YouTube not because I want to make money from or run ads. Honestly, I don't care about those things. I already have my own business. So YouTube is just something I do out of passion. You could say it's more of a Sigma mindset for me. Yeah, that's kind of how I am too. Like the shorts that I do are just like things that crack me up, that make me smile, and like moments that I just want to kind of like remember. Yeah, I would call that old internet thinking. You know, how the internet used to be when it was just fun. I mean, but I think it's just like, I think it's the way a lot of things go. I don't know. I think it's just culture today. And I'll trim the face smooth. In fact, I'm kind of thinking I may trim the faces now and then come back because that'll trim down the shortness. So yeah, let's do that next. Well, Malcolm, you have an awesome day. Your next stream be an awesome one. Continue to grow. Does someone want to explain the Sigma thing to me? Like, I know, like, you got alpha, I don't know, like, all that stuff. I know heard people say alpha mentality, beta mentality. What's Sigma? Yeah, it's a dangerous, like, yeah, it's kind of scary, I would say. Like, that's my one thing. Like, I was like, oh, it'd be kind of nice if I could, make enough to cover my expenses. But my expenses are low. Like, my studio membership is like $65 a month. I reuse my clay constantly, because I'm not a production potter. I only make gifts and things for myself. So, like I said, I've been using the same 100 pounds of clay for almost a year and a half now, and I still have stuff left. No, I'll take that back. I could just get that other one. So maybe I was about up to 125 pounds. And I still have probably 40 pounds of that left. So my expenses really are minor, like way less than $100 a month. Oh, so it's a new way of saying alpha? I am not good at keeping up with the slang. I cause a lot of cringe moments for my niece and nephew because I like to pretend I know what slang means and then use it incorrectly. It's my favorite thing. It's funny. I don't do a lot of social media. Like YouTube is pretty much it these days. I do Reddit, I will admit. I spend probably way too much time on Reddit, which I'm gonna cut soon. But even for our business, I've made the decision that I didn't want to do, like, we have an Instagram, but I quit posting on it. We have a Facebook, I quit posting on it, even though that means that, yeah, we're going to have less traffic. We decided we wanted to build a business that made us happy. And if that business can pay for our expenses, you know, like give us a salary, you know, so we can retire early or sooner than anticipated, then that's great. But we don't want to do things that don't make us happy or stress us out or participate in things that we don't believe in. So we just take the loss, you know? So I haven't gone as far as like to delete those accounts because, you know, I don't know, I haven't gone that far. But I didn't open a Bluesky because I was like, even a Bluesky is good now. Like, it's not going to end that way. Like any freaking major business like that, they're going to eventually sell. If you got investors, it's going to turn to crap. That's my personal opinion. If they're investors, it's going to go to crap. Because it's all about making money. And it's going to be about pleasing those investors and making more and more money for those investors instead of being whatever's true to itself. I'm going to try something different with this. I'm a little bitter. I worked for several startups, and like every startup I worked for, even when they wouldn't admit it, the goal was to sell. The goal was to sell that company to make money for the owner so they could go and have their big payday. And then what happens after that is people get fired or entire teams get shut down. And, you know, but at the same time, these people are trying to sell like, oh, this is a family or a family, blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, it's not a family, okay? If it was a family, you wouldn't have made a decision that, you know, potentially breaks up your family, you know? So that's how I found out that I'm just not meant for certain things. You don't want to fit now. I'm just not money hungry enough. But I figured that out when I was, God, 15 years ago. I figured that out in like 2015. 10 years ago, right? 2015? Haha. When is Inky 2? Oh, wait. When is Inky 2? That's a great question. So, that's a great question. I wanted to do, like Sean, my husband, we wanted to do it a little different, you know? Like, he wasn't sure if he had enough creativity to come up with enough puzzles for a whole full game. But he did find that he had more than he thought. But we wanted to do something a little bit different, you know? Like, not do the exact same thing. Like, we could probably crank out an Inky fairly easy. But, we want to try something different. My idea was, I don't know if you're familiar with the game Adventures of Lolo. It's a great puzzle gift. It's one of my favorites. It was an NES game. It was a serious block pushing puzzle game. So it was a block pushing puzzle game, but they had enemies. And so my idea was to do an Inky 2, but add enemies. And you know what? I think I may actually bring that up with him. Like, why don't we make an Inky 2? We could probably crank that out pretty easy. You know, we just want to try something different. So we started doing a platformer, but we're going to put that one on hold for a couple of reasons. One, it's a lot of work, and we kind of hit a wall in creativity on that one, like where to go next as far as mechanics and things like that and making everything work. And then the other thing too, we were planning on when we decided to make a when we make a platformer for our next game, we thought we could get 16 meg carts, and we can't anymore. Like originally we had talked to Inside Gadgets, and their source like double the price of the 16 meg carts. So we wouldn't be able to produce a game or manufacture a game that would be affordable to our customers and us still make money on it at 16 megs. So we're down to 8 meg carts, which changes the size of the game that we can make. We're going to still try to do a platformer, but we're just going to try to think of doing a smaller scale one. Let's see if she fits. Yeah, she's too tall for that one. I think I need to cut her down, right? I don't need to cut her down. She's getting stuck. She's getting stuck somewhere. She's getting stuck right there. Oh, but I was going to carve. That's right. Thought about different platforms more than GBA. We did think about making our games available to on the Switch. As far as doing another retro platform, we're pretty invested in the GBA. But we won't ever say never. You know, of the retro platforms, we just feel like the GBA's got. Actually, I would love to do the SNES. The Super Nintendo was my first system, other than actually DOS games. I love DOS games, but as far as like restrictions and capabilities and all that kind of good stuff, like, plus he's already made the sound engine and all this other stuff. But we did put in like our request to Nintendo to get on like their development platform, and we got denied. They shut us down. We had to wait like 5 months. We submitted the application, don't hear anything, 5 months, denied. No word why, like no information, like, oh, you need to do this or get this or that. It's just like, nope, you are denied. I'm like, okay. So, but we'll try again. We'll need to ask the developer for Good Boy Galaxy. We know him through the GBA dev community, and he's putting his game on the Switch. So we should probably just ask him, like, what, I don't think it's on the Switch yet, but we should just ask him, like, hey, did you have to do something crazy? What's the trick? I mean, I'm wondering, part of the reason was because all we have is a GBA file right now. I might try to sit a little bit more down there. So right there is where it needs to go. Well, you can play our games on the PC. You just need to use the emulator, but the niche is kind of like what we like about it. It's just, I mean, well, it's not just that. The other issue too is we don't want to maintain our games. Like, we don't want to be doing updates, things like that. We want to make our game and then like move on. But if we do more modern systems, we'll have to, I wish that fit a little bit more tightly. Let's cut down. And if we do modern systems and other modern platforms, we'll have to update our game. We'll have to maintain it. So by doing an outdated system or a retired system, you know, once you make that game, you're done. You know, it will play forever. No efforts needed. So whatever system we ever do, it'll always be a retro system, something that's no longer maintained. I know that seems weird because, yeah, like you said, it's very niche. We'll never... Hi, Minu. I'm sorry, my eyes are a little blurry. Nice to meet you. So, yeah, Sean's very... I want him to make a video on it. We have like a short on our thing, but he talks about like... He'll go, like, it's his... I call it his old man rant. But, you know, he talks about games and things that he's made that he can no longer use. He can no longer even see because of compatibility or backwards compatibility. And he's a little salty about it. So, you know, I mean, anyone who remembers Flash games will understand. In fact, he went through one of his projects that he did. There was this game, web game back in the day called Everybody Edits that got phased out. And so he went through and brought that back and did that for the community. But again, too, like, even if none of that, like, there's other benefits, like I said, like modern consoles, the competition's so steep, you know? I'm not sure we could be a two-man team and be successful with that. I mean, maybe some. I mean, our goal is, our business plan is, if we can just find like 2,000 people or something like that, 2,000 people who like our games and follow us, that would be enough. And then just kind of put games out for them. But, you know, because there's people, you know, you can see it all the time. People make great games that just never get seen. And they can do everything right, and it just doesn't happen. Same thing with YouTube channels, you know. There's some really great videos and channels out there, but they just, you know, whatever it may be, whatever's the reason. Maybe I'll just keep it like that. I think I will. Professor Oak, I'm 100% there with you, man. It's like impossible to find a good couch co-op game these days. Like how we, you know, funny enough, like I talk about Adventures of Lolo, that's not a, they did make one that I think was 2-player. It was a couch co-op, but Yeah, man, why aren't there couch co-op games anymore? Like, why is that not a priority? There's nothing better than sitting on the couch and playing with friends in person. I never got into the online play. I never made that transition. Oh, she fits perfect. Look at her. She's just so perfect. Love that. Love it, love it, love it. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and trim these others. What time is it? Yeah, if I can trim their faces. And then, Thomas says hello from Germany. There's some good I mean, like, I don't know. What was it? It was like Donkey Kong Country 2? My sister and I played the crap out of. Like, I think that was the first game I've ever 100% in. That's super not centered. Andrew, come off. Yeah, couch co-op puzzle game. But part of the reason why we started doing a platformer is that we thought maybe, like, you know, a non-puzzle game would be more popular, because all the most popular retro games we've seen have been mainly platformers. In fact, yeah, I think even all my favorite ones are platformers. I mean, I've played a lot with, like, puzzle elements. All right, fingers crossed this is gonna work. Maybe we'll just do a little bit more. See, the problem with the clay is that, so I got this moldable clay on the outside. But what happens is, like, when I push it onto the piece that I'm working on, the piece that I'm working on starts sucking the moisture out of this clay on top, because that's what clay does. It just absorbs moisture, like soaks it all in. So then if that clay doesn't get stuck anymore, it loses its shape. That's good. It's always something. Kind of cheating here. I'm like holding it. I gotta remember that I made the insides round, so there's quite a bit of clay on this outside corner I need to take off. It's okay if it's not perfectly round. It's okay if it's not perfectly round. You know, but we were talking about, you know, motivations behind doing things. Game making, that's one. There's so many people that make games with the intention of, like, you know, I'm gonna make the next Stardew Valley or this or that, and then they get really, really disappointed when that doesn't happen, because I once looked it up. I did the math. I was looking at seeing how many games are made in Unity, like Unity only, or released in Unity, like a month. And it's like, I looked at this like 2 years ago, and it's like 5,000 games a month. I think it's like a month. Yeah. I don't even know what it is now. So like, that's what you're competing with. You know, I should really do better than this. You know, so like the idea of going to do it and to be, you know, to get rich or whatever is just not a good plan. Just do something that makes you happy, that you find joy out of. Look at us getting all deep again. But that also goes back to because you can even go and make like, oh, I'm gonna make this game just that makes me happy, but I'm also hoping that it sells well and makes money, because that's what I want to do. Well, if what you like and makes you happy doesn't really, like, I don't know. But then you can even go out and say, okay, well, I'm going to go figure out and do all the market research. What kind of game is hot right now? Make that game. And then you're just dealing with straight up competition. I don't know. There's no right answer. And if there is and someone figures it out, let me know. Oh. You like my clay and art, but you could totally see me as a supercar mechanic. Yeah. No. I hate cars. I hate vehicles. I don't like messing with them. I don't. If I could not own one, I would not own one. I hate maintaining them. Not my thing. And I'm not mechanically inclined. However, my best friend, she taught me how to change my brakes this year, or last year. That was a pretty big moment for me. I felt very empowered. Because that's the other thing, I get bitter. I'm like, I don't want to go take my car to the shop and pay $800 for something I don't understand what's going on and know I'm probably getting gypped. You are not my friend, Peace. You're not my friend. She's not my friend. Brakes, totally. That's actually how she ended up changing my brakes. So she lives in Puerto Rico, and she came up and flew into Atlanta, and I drove her down to Florida where she has a lot in Mexico Beach, and she didn't do needed to do some maintenance, and so I was like, yeah, I'll drive you. Yeah, no problem. And she gets there, and my brakes are in like horrible, horrible shape. And she's like, Casey, we can't drive to Florida like this. And I got this big lecture from her about maintaining my vehicle. And it was so funny. She like pulled out the book, gave me the same lecture my dad actually gave me. This is your book. It tells you your scheduled maintenance, blah, 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 blah. She was like, you're at 100,000 miles. You need to be doing this, this. And I'm like, huh, really? It's like, no, I understand that. I just, yeah. Plus, I also had like, that was like shortly after my dad passed. And I had pretty much put a lot of stuff on hold. She was so mad at me, but she's a gearhead. She's always maintained her own vehicles. She's the one that taught me to drive stick. She's my bestie. If you ever want to go to Puerto Rico, come visit Puerto Rico. She'll give you the best tours. Nancy Brown, hello from Petersburg, Virginia. Hello from Petersburg, Virginia. I've never been to Petersburg, Virginia. I've never been to Virginia, actually. I hear it's beautiful. It's a terrible sound, isn't it? But I think we're there, maybe? But regarding my car, you also have to understand that I don't drive a lot. I drive maybe 25 miles a week. Can't even drive stick. So funny story about that. In 2012, I decided to go get a vehicle, and my heart set on a Volkswagen Golf, but I bought used because I didn't want to buy new, and the only one that they had was a stick. And so my friend Leala and I were going to go, we were doing the car shopping together, and she went with me when I was car shopping. So we go to the dealership, and I'm like, hey, can I test drive this Golf? And they're like, yeah, it's a stick. And I was like, I don't know how to drive a stick. Is that okay if I still test drive it? And they're like, yeah, sure. They hand me the keys and let me and Leala drive off with it. So Leala's like coaching me through it. It wasn't the first time I tried to drive stick. I had like 2 other people try to teach me, and it never went well. And I mean, I stalled out before I got out of the parking lot, and I kept stalling out. And I was like, dude, I don't understand. I can't get out of first gear. And so finally she took over, and she couldn't figure it out. And she kept stalling out. And this was in Pensacola. And so we're driving around these we're driving around Pensacola, stalling out, not getting out of first gear. And then this truck starts following us. And we're like, this guy's following us. And we pull into the bank, like this one place, and we did a circle, and he's still following us. And I'm like, oh my God, this guy's following us. What's going on? Eventually, then Leila looks down. She goes, oh, we have the emergency brake on. We drove that car for like a good 5 minutes with the emergency brake on. And then we got it off, and the guy's like, yeah, I could smell your brakes down the road. He was trying to tell us that we had the emergency brake on. So I bought the car, and I spent a good about month having a lot of embarrassing situations learning how to drive stick. But it made me a better driver, because I am one of these people that I have legit ADHD, so I get bored really easily, and Next thing you know, I'm like not paying attention to what I'm doing, driving, because, you know, I don't have enough stimulation or whatever. And I'm gonna do this one more time. One more turn, maybe go a little bit faster. So that Volkswagen, I loved that car, man. I loved that car. I drove that car to the Canyon, the Grand Canyon from Florida. I drove that car all around. I mean, I drove it everywhere. That was I freaking loved it. I've never, in fact, you know, I say hate cars. I loved that car. That was the one car I loved. It was so much fun to drive. It was tiny. It was just perfect. But then it ends up being one of those emission scam cars. So then I got, it was because of Volkswagen's emissions. So they, with that lawsuit, how it worked is that they offered you, they pretty much, they'd either give me $5,000 and change the car so it fit emission standards. But at that point, my car was kind of like run down a little bit and had some issues here and there. And, or they would give me pretty much the equivalent of what I paid for it. Well, not equivalent, but what I paid for it. I think it ended up being like $17,500, so $17,500 for it, and I paid $2,200 for it, and not $2,200, $22,000 for it, and they gave me $17,500. Like, those are my two choices. So I was like, well, I could get a new car for this, you know. So I went and traded it in, and it made me sad. And then it took me months to find another standard, because I was like, I have to have a standard, because, you know, otherwise I'm going to get in a car accident. And so now I have like a Mazda CX-5, which is like a little crossover SUV, and it's a manual. And it's just a car. It's just a car. And I hate it. But I would say there's, you know, everyone should know how to drive standard. Nah, there's no reason anymore. No reason. In fact, it's often inconvenient for me, because I remember once I was somewhere that had a valet drive or valet parking, and they're like, we need you to park it. We don't have anyone that can drive stick. So it's actually a hindrance. But it's fun. Well, it was fun in the Golf. It's not fun in the other one. It's just driving now. Just driving. So this is my best one. Let's take this off. Maybe it'll fit better in this thing. So yeah, I would say everyone needs to drive a stick now. Funny enough, my mom, she used to drive stick, and the Golf was a little tricky. Everyone who drove it had like little issues, except for my mom. My mom was the only one that got in that car and just took off, man. She burned out, and I was like, Jesus, slow down. She used to have a little sports car once in her life, and she's always kind of wanted one again. Can't tell I love my mom. I love my family in general. It's an anti-theft advice. It is an anti-theft advice, yeah. It's funny, I remember once when I was, in my previous life, I was driving one of my teammates around, and he was maintenance. I was a property manager and he was a maintenance supervisor on loan from another property because I needed a maintenance supervisor. And I was driving him home because he had a little bit too much to drink. And he was looking at me and goes, "Why are you pretending to drive stick?" And I'm like, "Dude, I am. Like, my car's this manual. Like, why would you?" It was just funny. It cracked me up. David. He was funny. Hope he's doing well. All right, it's 4, but I'm gonna do this face and that face, and then I'm gonna stop, because then I can trim the rest just by hand later, and I could probably do that before I underglaze. This is getting so close to being done. I'm so thrilled. Except this is like more on your side. And then this, ooh, that was a little soft. So this one we'll be careful with. This clay was mighty thick, so as I trim, it's getting towards the clay that's not as dry, like the driest clay was on the outside. So then as you trim, sometimes it can get a little soft and you'll press it and it'll actually smush in. So you have to be careful. That's what happened on one of the globes that I was doing. I was trimming it, and I thought I had trimmed the wall too thin because I was trimming, and then I felt it kind of go in a little bit, and I was like, oh no. And I kind of joked. I was like, oh, I hope it fixes. So much is getting ordered, and hope it fixes itself. Well, it actually did fix itself because it just turned out that clay was still wet. So. Strategy for this one is I'm going to start at the edges and we'll work my way towards the center. See, what's happening too is I drop this these clay bits into this white clay here that I got holding it, and that ends up again sucking moisture out of it. All right, I'm happy with that. We've got 3 round faces. All right, so let's see what we got here. All right, I'm gonna stop by 4:30, so 15 minutes, that's it. Annoyed lotus flower. Hello, my dear friend. Well, hello. It's a good name, annoyed lotus flower. So that one doesn't fit there, doesn't fit there. Definitely doesn't fit there. This one maybe a toss. This one doesn't fit here, doesn't fit there, but that maybe because it's too tall. And then, but it definitely fits there, and that fits how I want it to fit. This is my dream one. This is my perfect one. This is the one we're going to set aside. This one has more that needs to come off, more that needs to come off, more, lots more. I just need to put this on the side. It's not going to work. Well, this one works. This one would probably work for this if I took a little bit more off the edge. But this one also works perfect for that one. So I think I'm just going to keep it as is and say this is done. Yeah, this one's done. Sweet. So this one, I think we're just going to aim for this lady and just fingers crossed she works. So here I need to, yeah, I need to take some there. So good job, my dear new smart family friends. Very kind. I like kind people on the way lotus flower. I like kind people. I like compassionate people. I have found that, I don't know, dropping judgment and just facing people with compassion is a more peaceful way to live for me. So anytime I see someone who's kind, I get excited because I'm like, hey, kind person, I like you. I kind of feel like the ladies need some like texture, but I'm scared. I'm scared. Scared to carve on them. But what I could probably do is carve on that one that I'm tossing aside and practice on it and see if I like it. So maybe I'll do that tomorrow when I underglaze. What a crack. Don't be a crack. I'm just gonna go right over you like you're not a crack. Oh, Professor Oak, I'm sorry I missed it. Will you be posting this once you are done, like a short? Maybe. I don't know. Like, I always post all my lives, like I share them. So you can always go back and look at my lives. Sometimes I'll go through and like, so I can easily find stuff. If I find something I think is like short worthy, but I also only put so much effort into my videos. So like, YouTube's got this, you know, thing where like you can make a 15-second short from a video or from a live from your phone. So I only do 15-second videos because I'm lazy, and to do anything longer I'd have to like download the video and then edit it on my computer and then re-upload it. Because there's one day that I worked and I got the Cardinals full song, man. It was a minute of this bird just singing its heart out. And it was so cool because you could hear it build its song. Like it would start like tweet, 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 tweet. I think that's it. Yeah, tweet, 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 tweet. And then it'd be like tweet, 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 blah. Like that's it. They have this like twirl sound. And it was just cool because you could hear the song, like, I mean, hear the bird build its song. And I really like, I could, you know, it's marked in the video, but like I said, I try not to, I told myself I'm not going to let this, I'm not going to get distracted with making videos. I make clay. So I may pull a short out of it, but you can always find, I post all these, I make them public when I'm done, usually the next day, because they take a minute to upload. And that's not bad the way it is, but I think I'm gonna still pull it down more. So this whole video will be available. Does that answer your question, Professor Oak? Annoyed Lotus Flower, my dear friend, I will subscribe to your channel. That's nice, Lotus friend. This is pretty much all I do, so as far as like content, so just heads up. Professor Oak, that makes me happy that you're invested in this project. I like sharing it with people, man. Like that was something I did not expect when I started sharing stuff on YouTube. At first I was a little embarrassed because when I started recording myself, my plan was just to keep the videos on my computer, and I was like, oh wait, this takes up way too much space, and then I was gonna keep it on our NAS, and then my husband was like, no, you're not putting 8,000 videos on the NAS and just, you know, I think we got 2 terabytes of it space or something like that. He's like, you're gonna eat that up real quick, and I was like, okay. And he suggested just load them to YouTube because he's got a friend that uses YouTube as a repository. And so I started loading them to YouTube, and at first I made them private, and then I made them public for stuff I'm not going to get into right now, but I didn't put any hashtags on it because I thought, oh, if I don't do hashtags, people won't find it. And then I got like sucked into an algorithm I did not want to be into, like pottery's a kink. I learned that pottery's a kink now, so I got a lot of attention I did not want, and I had to take some videos down because I wasn't thinking about stuff. Like I didn't think anyone would watch, so I didn't have to worry about what I wore and stuff like that. So where was I going with that? Anyways, I don't remember where I was going with that. NAS, please. Bootleg Netflix. Hell yeah, bootleg Netflix. Yeah. Oh, so then I started changing it, and at first I was like, well, I'm just gonna take everything down then. And then I started streaming, and I made some pottery friends. Like Denny, I think Denny's here. He's one of my pottery friends. And I was like, well, that's not fair. Like, I don't want to be run off because, you know, I don't want to miss out on pottery friends because that's nice. I like this one. I like how she kind of sticks up a little bit. I was like, I don't want to miss out on pottery friends just because I'm sucked into some kind of algorithm I don't want to be in. And so now I keep it up. So now I just live. I just make sure I wear shirts that are full neck line. And yeah, my husband is an ass please. Like, I mean, he's funny. I joke and say we're two peas on opposite sides of the pod, because we're so similar in a lot of ways, and then but a lot of ways we're completely different. He's very organized, very analytical. He's an introvert. I'm like an ambivert, whatever, ambivert, whatever. So I kind of go both ways, but like he takes time to go and organize all the files on his computer, and about maybe every couple months I'll just throw everything that's been splashed across my desktop into folders so I don't look crazy, but it's no actual organization. One of the things I like to do on the NAS though is name files in ways that I know annoys them. But one for him, we wouldn't have an NAS. I would just have a stack of external hard drives. Just when I run out of space, just save everything there, and then I have this random stack of things. I have a stack of laptops because I need to get stuff off of them, but I just haven't gotten around doing it. I'm not gonna say I'm a hoarder. I'm just a little bit lazy. Yeah, I think I'm gonna carve the ladies. Right there. I think that'll be good. How's that even working? Don't go that way, but you go the other way. You get stuck there? Hey, you'd be lost for fear for days. You're still centering those? Yeah, that's why I stopped. Because there's just too many. Yeah. That is a terrible sound. Centering is hard, man. Centering is like one of the hardest things. And centering the clay is easier than centering a pot to trim for me. But that's probably because the clay is round, or I can make the clay round. Uh, meanwhile, yeah, I can make the clay round, but you know, once a pot's at trim, it is what it is. You can trim it round, but I don't have that. I mean, I don't know. I just deal with the wonky pot. So I think my next project after this is going to be a plant pot that looks like a UFO. And that'll be for my sister. I think I may actually be able to get that cranked out for her birthday. If I sneak out here and do it. I still got to do... Sean and I were going over all the stuff we have to get done for that conference. And this long-ass list. And he had to remind me. He's like, just so you know, like... I know that you're looking at time and how much time it's going to take you to finish the art for the game. Like, don't forget, like, I got to do stuff after you do it. So it's not like you can finish the week of or a few days before we leave, because that's the way I do things. Okay. All right, I hear you. Once I have this off my mind, I'll be moving faster on that other game. I've got tomorrow I'm going to try to crank out a bunch of stuff. That was another thing that we learned about each other working together. Was he's very much get done early so I can relax. And I'm like, no, work up until the very minute. You know, work up until the deadline. We learned that about each other. We learned about it with the Inky, because I kept on wanting to mess with the art, and finally he was like, no more messing with the art. No more changes. We gotta launch. And then, see, this is cracking a little bit. But as long as it holds together, we'll be fine. Where are you sticking, lady? I think you're sticking up somewhere else. Yeah, you're sticking there. Right? If I want you to get like that, then this whole part needs to stick through. Yeah, hold on, we're gonna shave this a little bit down. But that's the ADD, ADHD in me. Like, I was the same way in college. I mean, I'd stay up all night writing a paper the day before it's due. But that's also, I mean, that's also when the ideas come to me, is like when I'm under stress. So I think it's actually here. I need to take some off. My sister gets it. She's the same way. Wish I had x-ray vision to see where this was sticking. I think right there now. I never cut any of these in half, so I don't really know how they're doing on the inside. Probably should have trimmed stuff off when it was still wet on the wheel. Because what happens, like I mentioned before, that clay shrinks. Well, if you got wet clay on the inside and dry clay on the outside, what happens is that dry clay on the outside starts shrinking, and it's trying to shrink around that wet clay, but it can't, so it cracks. So but if I push it down, see where it's getting, yeah, it's right there, it's getting stuck. I pushed it down so it would mark the edge. It caused a little rough. Maybe we'll just leave those and fire it anyway and see what happens. Yep. I'm gonna call that fitting. All right. 4 lady heads. 4 lady heads. They only fit 1 lady. So if this lady dies, I'm in trouble. I feel like she's gonna be fine. And this one may. Maybe I'll make this one fit this one. I said this was my best. It's not really anymore, so I'll make this one fit this one so I do have one backup. Annoyed lotus flower, goodbye. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you for stopping by. So I want to cut off just a bit, just a wee bit. How am I going to do that? Wire? Is that the best way? No. No. I have an X-Acto knife somewhere. Oh, I did. Give me a sec. Yes. No! That sucks. Trim a little bit off that. We're going to carve a little bit. Just a little bit, then I got to go. Pam, I am making a statue for my mother for her birthday. I've been working on this a while, and I'm at the, getting so close to almost the end. I may actually be up to glazing soon. So give me a second and I'll show you how these work. So the idea is, well, whole story. I make clay gifts for my family. I asked my mom, what do you want for your birthday? She said, I want you to remake a statue you made for me when I was in high school. And when you were in high school, she was talking to me. And so that statue was actually hand built, but I've learned to do the wheel recently. Like I've been working on the wheel for the past year, and so I was like, I want to make it on the wheel. And that statue was of a woman, like a silhouette, very simple, you know, kind of just silhouette of a woman with a hat on, and the hat was kind of floppy. And in my head, the lady was always standing in the rain. And so how this statue is going to work is it's going to be a play on Russian dolls. So I have my lady statue here, and then her insert is this. It's going to be her face. It's gonna kind of look like a fireball when I'm done. And then I threw another piece that goes on the outside that this lady sits in, and it's a big globe that I did big cutouts in to make it look like water. So it'll look like the woman standing in the water. And I've been working on it for a while. I think I've got like 30 hours into this project. And I just call this one. But this should be the last clay component. The globe is done. The lady statues are done. So as long as all these pieces stay together and don't break on me, all that's left is glazing. I will do underglaze on these probably tomorrow or Sunday. Then I will take them to the studio and get fired, put in the kiln once, and then I will take them and I will put a shiny glaze on them. And then you'll get fired again, and fingers crossed everything survives the kiln, nothing explodes, because that is a possibility. Pam says she loves handmade gifts. Oh, you're collecting wild clay. Fancy. Do I have a preference for wheel? Yeah, the wheel I own. This is a Shimpo VL Lite. If I had to go back, maybe possibly, nah. I mean, I keep saying that maybe I would do the Whisper instead, which is about $200 more. But this one is light enough that I can pick it up and move it. So like I can, if I wanted to, I could pull this out and work in the sun, or I could bring it to the studio if I wanted and work with it. Plus we were planning on moving, and wheels are heavy. Yeah, we're gonna keep it just like that. And then base is right there. So I'm actually gonna cut a little bit more off the bottom. So I like my wheel a lot. I'm happy with it. It was a good buy. I was worried that I would outgrow it too soon because the weight limit is 25 pounds on it. But I'm still not throwing 5 pounds, and I've had it a year, so that's not actually an issue. Alrighty, y'all. Well, that is that. I have my pieces. Y'all brought me some good energy today. I'm super grateful for that. I was starting off all scatterbrained, and people were talking to me and letting me, just, I don't know, y'all stirred me up. You got me thinking straight, and I appreciate that. So, I'm gonna go. I hope everyone has a super awesome day. Yeah, and if today's not going well, I hope tomorrow goes better. All right?